and a review of Heinlein's Stranger in a Strange Land. I'm going to give a brief synopsis of the book and then talk about some interesting parts. So the book is about a man that was born on Mars and is rescued. There was an expedition from Earth. This is like a science fiction book, so this is in the future. And an expedition is sent to Mars, and they all die out. But then another expedition is sent, and they find a survivor. And this survivor grew up on Mars. He was the child of, I think, the first expedition, and then a second expedition rescued him, brought him back to Earth. And this is his name is Michael Smith. This is his transition from being a Martian, although of human ancestry, and into a full human, because in the beginning of the book, he is very much like a babbling idiot. He is a child, really. But as the book progresses, you see him become more fluent in his speech and in his actions and etc. So there are a few, in the middle of the book, there are a few kind of loose ends. There's a whole controversy about whether he owns Mars, and he meets with there's a world government in this book. He meets with the world government's president or something like that, and they discuss whether he is just an ambassador of Mars or whether he owns Mars, but it really has nothing to do with the story. Although I read on the Wikipedia page that the original work of Heinlein's on this title is actually much longer, about 25% longer, I think. But the publishers asked him to cut it down to size. So maybe in the full manuscript, which apparently is available, I don't know. There's some library who has it. I don't know if it's online or not. But Heinlein, the author, of course, thought the full manuscript was better than the slimmed down work for publication. So maybe in that full work, they discuss more about why that's important, but in the book, it's not important. It's just a loose thread. And there's a few of those. So anyways, going back to kind of the storyline, he's brought back, and of course he's under government quarantine because of who he is. But eventually he gets rescued by a nurse and sent to kind of to live in a secluded home of a famous author. He's an author. His name is Jubal, who's actually a very good character. He's an author, physician, and lawyer. And they all live together for a while, and this author has 3 female servants. I believe they're not sexual servants. They do work for him, secretaries and all that, dictation, and I don't know if they clean his house or not, I can't remember. And then there's a few, the government's looking for him, they finally found where he is, and then I don't know, it's not really that important. Eventually, the main character starts a kind of religious cult. This is near the end of the middle of the book, and that kind of gets resolved. And I won't give away kind of that bit of the book in case you want to read it, but that gets resolved eventually. The main theme of the book is definitely religious. It is very much a religious commentary, and it's also a commentary on human culture versus Martian culture. So Heinlein invents a Martian culture, and I'll give you a little bit of that now. He says that Martians, most of the people of Mars are actually not living. There is a population of living or corporate Martians, but most of them have what the book is called discorporated. They have died and become ghosts, and I guess they're ghosts in some sense. And so, I don't know, I can't remember, it was like 9 out of 10 Martians are ghosts, and they're still around, and they still, I guess, talk to each other and influence the government there and influence the culture. But these are the people, the ghosts of Mars, who make the decisions. And some of them are called Old Ones, and they're the ones, I guess, in the government that make the big decisions. And one of the concepts that Mars has is that they never hurry, and they take a long time to make decisions. because I guess these ghosts live forever, so they have eternity. So when you have eternity, you don't need to hurry, and you can take a long time to make a decision because time is not a relevant concept, right? So that's one thing about Martian culture. So, of course, Mike on Earth kind of inspires that in his own people. That there's a part near the end of the book where he says that you're never, and I might get to it, I'm not sure if I've got it flagged, but the people, if you're to be like a Martian, you're not supposed to hurry, but you can walk briskly, but never. The author invents this concept called grok, which I should have mentioned earlier, and it's throughout the book, and it's a Martian concept. Instead of saying I understand or I think, Mike will say I grok, and he'll ask other people if they grok something. And it's a strange, of course it's a made-up word. And it's his way of saying, it's not just about do you understand, but is it part of you? I think that's what he means by grok. And it reminded me like of Atlas Shrugged, like, who is John Galt? That thing that Ayn Rand invented as a new concept. I think Heinlein was trying to invent grok. Maybe he wanted people to say grok, just as a joke. But what it means, I think, is not just do I understand, but is it part of it? Yeah, so I guess I gave a brief synopsis. So let me get to some of the